In this video I'm going to be asking, have we lost our way? Roll titles. Well, hi YouTube, Brian James, a Micro Four Thirds guy, back with you after a bit of an enforced sabbatical for the last month or so. I've had a few little issues to deal with and they take me out the running, but I'm back. Well, actually I came back on Sunday because if you didn't see it, I'll put a link up there to it. Rob Trek held the first of his two for this year, the first of his 6th annual Micro Four Thirds meetups, and along with Ben Chappelle, Rob Trek, Peter Forsgaard, Matty Solanto and Robin Wong, I was on there too, and I had a real fantastic time with those really great people. Very, very entertaining, very interesting to hear what their views were on a few things Micro Four Thirds. So if you haven't seen it, check that link out and have a look. There's another one this coming Sunday, which is featuring an awful lot of the female photographers from the Micro Four Thirds line. So if you haven't seen that, it's got Martina, it's got Emily and a few other people on it. Go and see it. Jimmy Cheng from Red 35 is going to be on. That's going to be at about 2 p.m. UK time on Rob Trek's channel. So if you haven't got anything, but go and see it. It's a live stream, about an hour and a half of fantastic opinions on Micro Four Thirds. And of course, there's been a few changes in this week since I was on it. There's been some new products released from OM Systems, and very interesting they are too. But it's made me think a little bit. Are we losing the plot? Are we losing our way slightly? It's an interesting change in what we're doing. I'll try and explain what I mean to you. I'll tell you about a little bit of the history first though. I got into Micro Four Thirds because it was a neat, small, economical system which gave you fantastic results. I think a lot of us did that. We've got some really good gear now. We've always had some really good gear, but it was a good, neat, compact system which could be expanded upon to get really professional stuff. And that's great. But it was inexpensive compared to everything else. Now, today we've had the launch of the Olympus OM1 Mark II. Yes, the Mark II version of the OM1's come out just short of 2 years after the first one, which I think is a little bit on the short side. I think if I'd bought an OM1 2 years ago, or even in the last 2 years, seeing a Mark II version out may upset me a little bit. But the OM1 did have a few failings on it. Not many at all actually, but a few. So let's have a look at the OM1 Mark II to see what's different on it. I've got a little list here. Obviously it's rebranded. So the Olympus name has gone from the top. Is OM Systems written on the top. So finally, after all this time, the Olympus name has gone from the cameras. And from what I can gather, and this is a rumour, it's nothing guaranteed in this, but from what I can gather, it seems like the agreement time to get the transfer done has come, and hence the Mark II's come out with the new name on it. Obviously we had OM Systems on the OM5, so we've seen that name on the cameras before, but this is the first time on the OM1. It's double the internal buffer memory. The internal buffer memory used to get criticised because it would run out. It was very small, and as soon as you hit the end of the buffer, then the whole camera just slows down, almost stops. The Lumix does actually stop. The Lumix G9 and G9 too, when you hit the end of the buffers, they do stop. You have to release your finger and go back on again. At least the Olympus carries on a little bit. But that's been sort of taken care of with a double-sized buffer, which should give some amazing performance. 8.5 stops of IBIS. 8.5 stops of IBIS. Just think about that. If you're shooting something at 1,000th of a second, well, one stop would take it out of 500th. 2 stops, you could shoot the same shot clearly at 250th, 125, 60th, 30th, 15th of a second, 1/8 of a second, 1/4 of a second, and half a stop. That's, you know, you're talking about getting on for about 2/3 of a second handheld compared to 1,000th of a second when you put it in those terms. Mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing that you could, in theory, do a half-second exposure on this, where on a normal camera without any IBIS, without any image stabilization, you'd have to be shooting at 1,000th of a second. That puts it into real perspective. 14-bit RAW for high resolution mode. Yeah, fine. Human AI detection. The OM1 didn't have human detection on it, or nothing to really speak of. It didn't do too well on that. But it's been changed. But not only changed because it will recognise an individual. So if you had a crowd of people and you put it onto my face in that crowd, it would follow me and ignore the rest. That's amazing. Quite often talk about the fact that Micro Four Thirds has somewhat lost its way insofar as it doesn't innovate. It's not leading the camera market as it used to. They were the Micro Four Thirds were the first of the removable lens, fully mirrored cameras, mirrorless cameras, and we've had a huge amount of innovation. The IBIS came from this site. The whole lot came from Micro Four Thirds, and it's fallen by the wayside. So seeing something like this really is good insofar as what the OM1X did with facial recognition in the first place. It's got new added computational ND filters. I haven't found out anything about those yet, so I'll have a look. Better focusing system, which says a lot because the old one was really, really good. Improved ergonomics. Well, from what I've heard, I haven't actually held one, but I don't believe there's a great deal of difference in the casing and the camera at all. So it's an interesting one on that one. In fact, they seem to be using exactly the same coverings and exactly the same mouldings and everything. So improved ergonomics, I'll have to see. But price, €2,399. So basically, it's not about 2,400 of whatever we do. It's 2,324. That will, of course, be discounted. It always gets discounted. That's fine. I'm really pleased with that. As I say, if I'd been an OM1 buyer previously, I might be a little bit ticked off at it. But to be honest, I think the improvements are worthwhile. They're very, very good. I know things like the double buffer memory is coming on the sports and the birding, the wildlife photographers. And that, of course, is what the markets that the OM was originally pushed towards. So it's needed to have that for them, to keep them on board. But the facial recognition system, I think the improvements on that really are a little bit of a groundbreaker. However, this is where I think they were losing our direction. There's a few new lenses being done, being put out, but one is a new OM150 to 600mm lens, and that sounds fabulous. It really does sound fabulous. I said in a previous video I wasn't going to talk about equivalents, but I'm going to do it on this just because it's shock factor. That's equivalent to what is it? It's a 300 to 1200mm if it was on full frame. So that is a huge, huge lens, huge reach lens. So that's great, except for the fact that the lens, as far as I can see and from the comments I've seen and everything, it seems to be pretty much a rebadged and rejigged Sigma lens, which was built for full frame cameras. So it's a big camera. And this brings me back to what I said at the beginning about defeating the object of Micro Four Thirds. Yeah, it does give amazing results. But let's just go through the specs on this one. It's originally a Sigma 150 to 300 full frame lens. This is a Micro Four Thirds version of it. Supports Sync IS. That's fine. 9 aperture blades. Minimum focus 56mm. We've seen this lens basically before. See the filter size 95mm. That's huge. And again, I'm talking about for Micro Four Thirds. I know that these sort of things are normalish in full frame, but this is Micro Four Thirds we're talking about. Should be smaller. So 25 elements, 15 groups, 4 Super ED lenses, 2 ED lenses, 6 HR lenses, 1 HD lens, and a partridge in a pear tree. Fluorine coatings, all the bits and pieces, IPX1 weather sealing. But this is where we get to the bit that I have the problems on. Length 264mm. 26.4 centimeters long for a lens on a Micro Four Thirds camera. Can you imagine sticking that onto a GH1 or a GM5 or something like that? Diameter 109.9mm. That's it's big. Weight, and this is the killer for me. Weight of this is 2,065 grams. Now, I know that all the people who shot full frame in the past are going to say, yes, well, it's a big lens, but this is what we're used to. It's not what we're used to on Micro Four Thirds. It's great to take a lens which is designed for a bigger system and just downgrade it, chop it in a bit. But the truth of the matter is, it's not a great size of lens for Micro Four Thirds. And this is going to be €2,700, 2,699 according to what I'm seeing here. So paying £2,700 for a lens which wasn't designed out from the offset for Micro Four Thirds cameras. Now, again, don't get me wrong, I've just done a review of the fantastic little 30mm Sigma, and that's a lens which wasn't designed for Micro Four Thirds cameras, but it has been remounted for it, and I've got no problems with that. But to call this an Olympus OM, well, an OM Systems lens, should I say, to call this a proper OM Systems lens when it's really a rebadged Sigma, I feel is a little bit underhand. I feel as if we're being swizzled to a degree. If Sigma are going to make lenses for Micro Four Thirds, let Sigma make lenses for Micro Four Thirds. Let us know what we're getting. But to say that this is an OM system lens, I feel a little bit taken for a ride. But let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the fact that we're using such huge lenses. Have we lost our way? Are we actually on a different track to where we should be? Now, the other thing which has been announced is a Mark II version of the 9-18 Olympus lens, or the 9-18 OM Systems lens, should I say. That's been released soon. This has all been announced today, so hot off the press. But I think that maybe is a good lens to get. The 9-18 was a really nice little lens in the first place on the for Micro Four Thirds, so I'll be interested to see when that comes out. But as I say, from my point of view, I wonder if Micro Four Thirds has lost its way to a degree. But the trouble is, for me, I think we've lost our way. We're not seeing anything of the smaller, more compact side of Micro Four Thirds. Yes, we've seen OM1 Mark II come out from OM Systems, obviously in this release. We've seen recently the G9 Mark II, which is the flagship camera for the Lumix stills line. We're talking about a GH7 coming out, which will be the flagship camera, bigger again on the video side for Lumix. But we haven't seen anything from the sort of GX line. The GX9 was the last one which came out, and that's been out for a long, long time. We're not seeing anything in the way of pens from OM Systems. There's been a call for a long time for a Pen F Mark II. That would be fabulous. There's an awful lot of people I know who would love to have a Pen F Mark II, but they're not coming. And this is why I'm wondering, has Micro Four Thirds lost its way insofar as what it's releasing? And is it losing its way in the size and in the advantages that we had over the other systems? Is it becoming too fat and too bloated? Well, you let me know. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy this video, still give me a thumbs up. Why not? It's not costing you anything. And also hit the subscribe button if you're not a subscriber. Join the 10,200 merry souls who are subscribers. But a big word of thanks for these wonderful people here who are my Patreon patrons, who once again keep this channel going. So, till the next video, keep on taking your camera out, keep on having fun with your photography, and I'll see you. Bye-bye.